Anyway, get the seasoned panko, so you don't even have to really season it yourself. I still So the way you do it is you season the bear meat, then you put the flour on. You season the flour and then roll it in the seasoned flour. Do the egg wash and then put it in the seasoned panko. But if you get the pre-seasoned panko, you can skip some of those seasoning steps and it's okay. It's still better to do all the seasoning steps.
Well, yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I definitely want conviction, like maybe even more than +1 recovery stock. I think I like her loadout as it is. Like, there's no wrong way to bread something. If you're the only
There's
one,
different flavors and different reasons for it.
like, if you're cooking for yourself, you can't do it wrong. But if you're cooking for other people, then there's a right way and a wrong way.
Of course. As with most things. I mean, it's like when I eat chicken parmesan, I know the traditional way is to bake it. I prefer not baking it. For instance. I'm not sure why. It's just baking it gives it a taste that I just don't like.
Well, like, what you start it in the frying pan, and then the baking part is just to crisp the outside and melt the parm.
Well, it feels like it does something to the tomato sauce that I just don't like. Like in general, things with tomato sauce, unless it's lasagna or something, I don't tend to like baked.
Maybe you're just using the wrong kind of tomato sauce.
Could be, I don't know.
Maybe you want a more watery sauce so that stays, that like it doesn't form a skin as easily.
Well, it's not the texture; it's the taste. It feels like it doesn't taste as fresh. I guess is the way to put it. Maybe I'm using the wrong sauce. I don't know.
Or, like, is it seasoned or is it just straight tomato sauce?
Ordinarily seasoned.
What are you putting in it?
Um, oh God, I haven't made it in so long. Basil. I know we use garlic sometimes. Depends. Um, there's a couple other things. I
Do you
haven't
put
made it in
salt
God
in?
knows how long. I think we have before, but I can't remember.
Because what salt will do is it'll help balance the flavor while you're cooking it. It's especially effective
Okay.
in microwaves. That's why microwave foods have so much salt in them, because the microwaves will break down the salt before the other flavors.
So it keeps everything tasting the way you want it. It's like an
Yeah.
insulator almost.
So it doesn't work as effectively in the oven, but
It might help.
it might help.
Okay. I'll
Like,
give it a try.
it depends how long you're putting it in too.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like, literally you only put in long enough to melt the cheese.
Maybe that's the other part of the problem. Because people I've eaten with who've made chicken parmesan usually bake the shit out of it. They bake it
Like,
like they were actually making a baked food.
no, like 4 or 5 minutes is probably all it needs.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Maybe even less. Like, you do the cooking in the frying
Where's my
pan,
water?
right?
Yeah.
And then, like, there's a little bit of oil on the outside if you're frying it in the frying pan on the stove. You know, it's a little bit oily maybe. So when you bake it, it crisps up the outside, melts the cheese, but it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes.
You shouldn't be doing any further actual cooking, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Do you does your frying pan have a plastic handle or a metal handle?
Cast iron, so metal.
Okay. You can even leave it in the frying pan, put the pan in the oven.
Almost my entire family uses cast iron stuff.
Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be cast iron, but if always get a frying pan with a metal handle.
So you can just
So,
go straight into the oven.
yeah. Sometimes it just saves cleaning up dishes. Sometimes you don't want it in the pan, just for cooking purposes, but
Yeah.
it just saves so much time. It keeps the flavors intact. And you can do desserts too.
Yeah, I had a guy who actually made brownies in a cast iron skillet before. Why they did it that way, I don't know, but it worked.
You can also make pies that way too.
Really?
Yeah, you just put a pie crust over the top. Like you cook things on the stove top. You put a crust over the top of the pan, then you bake it to brown the crust, but you don't put a shell around it.
Okay. That sounds really good. It's been so long since I've had like homemade apple pie. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, so it's a pie that doesn't hold its shape, like it'll ooze because it doesn't have a bottom. But
That's fine.
yeah,
Most people don't really like the filling in pies anyway, or only like the filling in pies anyways. They don't really like the crust. Most people don't.
the crust is the defining factor of the pie.
I'm just saying most people I know don't. I don't mind crust as long as it's done well.
I'm just saying the crust is actually the most important part. Like, the filling always changes, but the crust, it has to be good.
Well,
It
yeah.
has to be really thin and really light, not not like obtrusive to the flavor. Also, this is like the biggest asshole in the game.
I just like wormholed out a tank and no one better than I.
Look at this intro.
Jesus Christ. What did you piss off?
This is the biggest asshole in the game.
He seems pretty pissed. Yeah.
At least for now. Once we get his gear, he'll actually not be so bad. The thing is, though, he really likes doing these ranged fireballs that have like unlimited range.
Damn, that's annoying.
Yeah, so even though I'm all the way over here where enemies normally don't even notice me, he'll still turn around and shoot me sometimes. But once we get his gear, he basically can't hurt us anymore because we resist him so hard. And then someone new will take the biggest asshole in the game. Basically, the new enemy is the biggest asshole in the game, always, until we unlock all the enemy types.
Okay.
He also has this charge attack, which displaces me. But if he gives me a moment, he has prayer beads and horns that we have to break. As you might expect, the prayer beads are really hard to hit.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, if you're melee, they're just always out of range, except for a slam attack. And if you're ranged, look how he moves. He's always flopping around, changing direction. So the best way to break them is to either get lucky with ranged attacks, or save your breaker until he comes in range on whatever you're using.
Okay.
So we're going to try and build up the Team Destroyer and shoot him right in the chest.
Oh, he's just done.
Well, it'll break everything. He'll probably survive with plenty of HP. But yeah, once we get the gear from this guy, he actually becomes the easiest enemy in the game.
Really?
Yeah, because we'll be largely insulated against fire and physical damage with his gear.
I'm assuming
And
there's a lot of other people that's good for too, right?
yeah, but once you collect a boss's items, they become much easier. But this guy doesn't have a lot of tricks aside from what we've already seen. He does have one or two more things he
Cthulian
does.
Tale. I have no comment.
I think you need to double check your reading.
I only saw it for a split second.
He also has, like, the hops. Look at that jump. Naturally, the true biggest asshole in the game is the final boss. But since we don't encounter him for a while, this guy will be the biggest asshole for a little while. But the final boss, um, because of the nature of the game, isn't really that final.
Really?
Well, we fight him, and then we unlock missions where we have to solo him, which is actual hell. I haven't gotten far enough from the game to see if there's a mission where we can fight two final bosses at once, but there's definitely a trend for that. I also don't know if there's a second tier to the final boss species, like the Manhunter and the Bloodhunter, but now you can see it's Chthonian, not Cthulian.
Chthonian, okay. I guess just anytime I see that beginning spelling, my brain just autofills in the rest. Be funny if it was Cthulian, though, huh?
Well, it wouldn't make sense. I'd have to be fighting a giant squid.
No. Not necessarily. Depends on what part of Lovecraft's mythos you believe this comes from, and whether the thing that's actually is a Cthulhu, or it's Cthulian and it's just being controlled by a Cthulhu.
Yeah, but the fan arts are always Davy Jones.
Well, yeah. Because technically speaking, the things we were dealing with in Bloodborne is all based off Cthulian mythos.
Yeah, and technically speaking, I didn't actually mean to hit that. The button just stuck. Technically speaking, his physical form is never described.
No. Everyone just assumes Cthulhu is cephalopodish.
Because that's the most cosmic horror-ish thing that they can imagine. Like, what's the freakiest thing you can imagine? Well, for me, it's this, so it must be so.
Yeah, I don't find squids that weird, really.
Well, clearly, he never wrote of Cthulhu with Japan in mind, because they basically worship him.
Right?
You,
Like, I find...
you bring dokis to my hentais.
Oh, God. I find jellyfish more creepy than squids. I don't find jellyfish really all that creepy either.
The scariest jellyfish are the ones you can't see.
Yeah, because then they can actually kill you.
Except for box jellyfish, they're like super obvious, and they kill you.
Yeah. Yep.
But they also have like something stupid like 20-foot long tentacles, so like they could be out of your field of vision.
And still fucking sting the shit out of you.
I bet there's a market for that. Jellyfish bondage.
Burley, you have problems, sir. Hey, Satan. I didn't know you were up this early.
It's just Ahegao face with jellyfish.
Oh, God.
Okay, I got the
Wouldn't that be
teleport that time.
jellyfish masochism, technically?
Like, probably.
Because you're making that face from being stung by a jellyfish.
The real question we have to ask ourselves here is how I didn't even have to define Ahegao for you to know exactly what I was talking about.
I've spent more time on the internet than probably healthy for most people. I actually
So,
didn't know the pronunciation of that word.
so I was looking at Ahiga memes today, and apparently you can get T-shirts with the common Ahiga faces.
Oh God. Why?
It's hilarious. I haven't checked yet, but I think I hit him right in the prayer beads.
Hit him right in the prayer beads.
Yeah, it's like when I'm at work and we're working in the meat fridge, and to yeah, we broke it. To regulate the temperature, they have plastic flaps on the inside of the door, right? Like not a
Yeah.
curtain, but like a series of small curtains. So of
Yeah.
course, for the meat fridge, I say don't forget to close the meat flaps.
Oh God.
There's nothing like a reason to say meat flaps for no reason.
Oh God.
Not only that, they're getting paid to do so.
You're getting paid to use the phrase meat flops?
Yeah, isn't it wonderful? Okay, so now this guy's going to attack me because his one defining feature of garbage is that he'll change aggro to literally every party member um, every time he roars.
That's
And,
annoying.
and then he'll just, like, pursue them with extreme prejudice until he takes enough damage to be pulled off.
That's like really fucking annoying.
Yeah, especially if you're doing ranged. Anyway, here's phase two. So his tail, arms, and legs are back. We have to break them again. He's on all fours, which is the easiest part to break, and he breathes fire for like a million miles across the arena. But this is phase two, where he is almost like a Final Fantasy behemoth. And if you failed to break the prayer beads in phase one, then they're really easy to break here, except if you're standing in front of him, that's the place you don't want to be. But he's very much like a Final Fantasy behemoth in this phase. So he's trying to absorb his body part back, but we're not going to let him. First phase is actually harder, because he only has 3 attacks in this phase. He has that explosion, he has the fire breath, and then he has melee. Which I guess you could subdivide melee into different attack patterns, but they're all essentially the same.
It takes 3 sleeping gas grenades to take down some of these fucking possessed puppets. That's a lot of fucking sleeping gas, like Jesus Christ.
They might die of a fart attack.
Fart attack.
It's gassing them down. Okay, so he's
Okay.
on me. Which is fine, because I can teleport 21 more times. So when he sticks his hand in the ground, he's actually reaching for somebody.
Really? How the fuck
Yeah,
does that work?
he sticks his hand in the ground and then tries to come up underneath someone with his
Oh, okay.
hand.
He wants to give somebody a galactic fist.
The most amazing fisting they've ever had in their life.
I don't know. Hatsuho's apparently Hatsuho. No, Hatsuho is
That's
apparently
a
old enough to cast
hole.
her. There's probably not a coincidence that mistake can be made with her name.
Maybe Yamato used a Hatsu hole once upon a time.
Probably. I wouldn't
They
be
are
surprised.
they are childhood friends, and this is a Japanese game.
Oh God.
I'm just saying, the childhood friends a triple threat.
Triple threat. Oh God.
They probably even used to take baths together.
Technically, you've taken baths with everybody in the village, so.
Yeah. And that one time I even went on Ladies' Day.
Oh God.
And Kika didn't even throw me out.
Geez, I wonder why.
Even Hayatori throws me out.
I mean, technically, Kika should be the first to throw you out, considering what she is.
Well, no one said a shrine maiden had to be a shrine virgin.
Fair enough. Well, what's her face definitely isn't.
So here's the grapple attack. He catches you in, like, the infinite dismissal trap card from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh God. Infinite dismissal? You mean my playthrough of Metal Gear?
Pretty much.
No,
I
but
t-
like fucking what's her face upgrade your Nitama is definitely not a virgin. That one's obvious.
Oh, and we got Benkei. The warrior of many
Who do you think?
weapons.
The warrior of many weapons. Never heard of him.
You ever heard the story of Benkei? Also, we got a
Nope.
pulsating lava from that guy, so his red hot liquid is now in our pocket.
Oh God, shut up.
But
You
yeah,
shouldn't say white hot.
basically, the next new enemy we encounter is the final boss, if I remember correctly.
At least you didn't say white hot liquid, because then it'd be a problem.
What's long and hard and full of semen?
What, Burley?
These fellas. Were you expecting a submarine?
Why did I? I don't know. She might have been.
Alright, so only commander's down. But, who's the king?
That fucking face, though.
I know, right?
She has problems.
I was a little excited myself. Well, we couldn't tell through your massive Hakama.
I think he's excited about your Tenko.
I know, right? Let us hope this puts an end to sleepless nights. Not for Hayatori and my Tenko.
Oh God. Need to keep that thing under fucking lock and key with him around. Might actually have to buy your Tenko a fucking chastity belt.
And then at night, you just hear sounds like a Gatling gun firing into an armor plate.
That's terrible. Oh God.
Ninja art. Phallus storm.
Phallus storm. Ugh. Ninja raping no jutsu.
That's the real reason ninja houses had slanted floors. Not to confuse the enemy, just to give them better leverage.
Oh god.
Shusui is like having a serious talk here.
Shisui looks fucking weird. Shisui just wants into her pants.
Probably has a tiny penis.
Probably. I'm not gonna make the obvious joke most people would make there.
So Kika is replying with the power of love.
Oh god.
Quite perceptive, though.
Where the fuck were you hiding?
Esoteric art of the ninja, off screen.
Esoteric art of the ninja. I have no comment. Alright, there's one of the final things for D-Horse being done. I actually need to get a materials engineer to finish him up. I stopped finishing
So
the
now
Diamond Dog
we're
up.
told that Shusui was supposed to initiate the Second Awakening.
The Second Awakening.
Yeah. But it's not working out so well because everyone's so boss.
So what's the Second Awakening?
Well, the First Awakening is when the Oni Horde appeared. So the Second Awakening is when the gates of hell
Oh.
open again.
So Shisui has problems.
Shusui has orders.
Orders from who?
I think we find out after we kill the final boss the first time.
I'm about to say, what asshole do we need to find and wreck? Shut up, Bradley. I know that was worded badly.
Also, we just got a bit of Benkei's backstory, and we're in Chapter 5 now.
Yeah, look through it. You actually know his legitimate backstory a lot better than, the game probably does.